got. Happy Sabbath. Hello, I'm Lee, and I'm going to continue reading Genesis and comparing. This week, I've got the Septuagint up here, Genesis chapter 22, where we left off last week. The Dead Sea Scrolls, DSSBible.com, DSSEnglishBible.com, Genesis 22, and the Thompson Septuagint translation, and the Dead Sea Scrolls Bible translation on Google Playbooks, and KJV Genesis chapter 22, the Blue Letter Bible, the Aramaic Targum Pseudo-Jonathan. I got the Book of Jubilees pulled up, so we'll go ahead and start with, go to here, put these two first, and it looks like Genesis 22 and the Dead Sea Scrolls starts at 13, so we're missing part of it, and it starts with 13 in the Dead Sea Scrolls English Bible. So, and they have a note here, since according to the Bible itself the name Yahweh, translated Lord, replaced with Lord in most modern editions of the Bible, was later revealed to Moses in the book of Exodus 3:13-15. Students of the Pentateuch have long debated the use of Yahweh in the book of Genesis. A common solution suggests that an early author-editor indiscriminately used the term in his copying of the text, 4Q Gen Exodus, sure to fuel the debate afresh, replaces the term Yahweh in Genesis 22:14 with a more common Hebrew term for God. Thus, the familiar Jehovah Jireh becomes Elohim Jireh. Jehovah. Wrong. So we got 13 and 14:15. And they are incorrect because in Genesis they knew the name. So we're going to start with Septuagint and go to verse 13. And Genesis chapter 22. And it came to pass after these things that Yahuwah tempted Abram and said to him, Abram, Abram. And I don't like how they got tempted there, because, let's go over here. Let's see, where's it at? If I can find it. And therefore tempt you not God. Satan tempt you. And where's it at? Tempt. It's in there. If I can find it. God is not tempted, so he doesn't tempt. Okay, here we go. James chapter 1 verse 13, let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of God, Yahuwah, for Yahuwah cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempteth he any man. That is a direct contradiction. It came to pass after these things that God tempted Abraham. So either James is wrong or this is wrong. check another one. And the Thompson translation says, Thompson Septuagint, and it came to pass after these things that God tried Abram. See? Incorrect translation. Correct translation. Thompson. And it says also tried. Psalm 66:10, for thou, O Yahuwah, hast proved us, thou hast tried us, as silver is tried. So, David concurs. Job 23:10, but he knoweth the way that I take. When he hath tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Yep, Hebrews 11:17. By faith, Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. He wasn't tempted, he was tried, tested. James 1:12, blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which Yahuwah hath promised to them that love him. I'm going to read on down through here in the Thompson Septuagint here. And said to him, Abraham, Abraham, and he said, here I am, or here am I. Also, he said, I am here. Abraham, behold, here am I. And he said, take thy son, thy dear son, whom thou hast loved, Isaac, and go to the hilly country, and offer him up there for a whole homage offering on one of the hills, which I will point out to thee. So Abraham arose in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took with him 2 servants, and his son Isaac, and having split wood for the whole homage offering, he set out on the journey, and came to the place which God told him on the 3rd day. Now when Abraham raised his eyes, and saw the place at a distance, he said to his servants, stay here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder, and when we have worshipped, we will return to you. Then Abraham took the wood of the whole homage offering, and laid it on his son Isaac. And he took in his hand the fire and the knife. Sorry about that, Norton pop-up, I gotta fix that. Took the wood of the whole homage offering, and laid it on his son Isaac, and he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they both proceeded on together. And Isaac said to his father, Abraham, Father. And he said, what is the matter, son? And Isaac said, here's the fire and the wood, where is the sheep for the whole homage offering? And Abraham said, my son, Yahuwah will provide for himself a sheep for a whole homage offering. It's weird how it says whole homage offering. So that they both proceeded on together, and came to the place which Yahuwah told him. And Abraham built there the altar, and placed thereon the wood, and having bound his son Isaac, he laid him on the altar above the wood. And when Abraham stretched forth his hand to take hold of the knife to slay his son, the angel of Yahuwah called to him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. And he said, lay not thy hand on the lad, nor do anything to him, for now I know that thou fearest Yahuwah, and on my account hast not spared thy darling son. So we got Abram said, sit here, whole burnt offering, homage offering, and the angel called out of heaven. Let's see what Jubilee says here. Yep. And this is Jubilees. Which chapter is it? Previous 17. Verse 15, and it came to pass in the 7th week, in the 1st year thereof, in the 1st month, in this Jubilee, on the 12th of this month, there were voices in heaven regarding Abraham, that he was faithful in all that he told him, and that he loved Yahuwah, and that in every affliction he was faithful. And the prince Mastema came and said before Yahuwah, Behold, Abraham loveth Isaac his son, and he delighteth in him above all things else. Bid him offer him as a burnt offering on the altar, and thou wilt see if he will do this command, and thou wilt know if he is faithful in everything wherein thou dost try him. And Yahuwah knew that Abraham was faithful in all his afflictions, for he had tried him through the country and with famine, and had tried him with the wealth of kings, and had tried him again through his wife, when she was torn from him, and with circumcision, and had tried him through Ishmael and Hagar his maidservant, when he sent them away. Now, this is an example for us right here. Have you been tried through circumcision? Have you been tried through famine? Have you been tried through your country, wealth of kings, through your wife, through your son? And in everything wherein he had tried him, he was found faithful, and his soul was not impatient, and he was not slow to act, for he was faithful and a lover of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here am I. Here am I. And here it says, Here I am. 22, let's see. Abraham, Abraham, here I am. And we know what the Father's name is, right? So would Abraham say, I am? In Exodus, he said, I am. Next. Exodus 3:14, and Yahuwah said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. Or Yah has sent me unto you. So would Abraham say, I am, or would he say, Here am I? I think Jubilee's got this correct. And he said, Take thy beloved son, whom thou lovest, even Isaac, and go into the high country, and offer him on one of the mountains, which I will point out unto thee. And he rose early in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took his 2 young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood of the burnt offering. And he went to the place on the 3rd day, and he saw the place afar off, and he came to a well of water, and he said to his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad shall go yonder, and when we have worshipped, we shall come again to you. And he took the wood of the burnt offering, and laid it on Isaac his son, and he took in his hand the fire and the knife, and they went both of them together to that place. And Isaac said to his father, Father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said unto him, Behold the fire and the knife and the wood, but where is the sheep for the burnt offering, father? And he said, God will provide for himself a sheep for a burnt offering, my son. And he drew near to the place of the mount of Yahuwah, and he built an altar, and he placed the wood on the altar, and bound Isaac his son, and placed him on the wood which was upon the altar, and stretched forth his hand to take the knife to slay Isaac his son. And I stood before him, and before the prince of Mastema, and Yahuwah said, Bid him not to lay his hand on the lad, nor to do anything to him, for I have shown that he feareth Yahuwah. And I called to him from heaven, and said unto him, Abraham, Abraham. And he was terrified, and said, Behold, here am I. And I said unto him, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything to him, for now I have shown that thou fearest Yahuwah, and hast not withheld thy son, thy firstborn son, from me. And the prince of Mastema was put to shame. Satan. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, a single ram caught by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered it for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. So I stood before him and before the prince Mastema, and Yahuwah said, Bid him not lay his hand on the lad, nor do anything to him, for I have shown that he feareth Yahuwah. And I called him from heaven, and said unto him, Abraham, Abraham. So, Abraham in 13 from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked and saw that behind him was a ram caught in the thicket by his horns. Abraham went into the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering instead of his son. Abraham called the name of that place Yahweh will provide, or Yahuwah will provide. As it is said to this day, on Yahuwah's mountain it will be provided. Yahuwah's angel called to Abraham from a second time out of the sky. So who called to Abraham? Yahuwah's angel, or Yahuwah's messenger. And so another fragment from 14 is Abraham called the name of that place Yahuwah will provide. As it is said to this day, on Yahuwah's mountain it will be provided. So he's on one of the holy mountains, one of the 4 holy mountains. And we've got 22. The angel of Yahuwah called Abraham out of heaven a second time. And this has been substituted. See 14 here, Jehovah Jireh, negatory. That's blasphemous. Yahuwah will provide, or God will provide. 14. So one manuscript says Yahuwah will provide, not Jehovah Jireh. On Yahuwah's mountain, or Yahweh's mountain. And God will provide, or Elohim will provide. Nothing about Jehovah. That's Pharisee, Kabbalistic, Zohar crap. So we've got here, we're on the Dead Sea Scrolls. English Bible pretty much lines up. They don't tell you that 2 different fragments are found that say 2 different things here. They just take the one that says God, or Elohim, or God, and they stick that in the Dead Sea Scrolls English Bible. And we can see very clearly that 2 different fragments were found here, and they only took one that they liked and didn't put the other one in there. So gotta watch out for that. 22 and 15. Saying, the angel of Yahuwah called to Abraham a second time out of heaven, saying, By myself I have sworn, saith Yahuwah, because thou hast done this, for my sake hast not spared thy beloved son. With blessings I will indeed bless thee, and I will multiply thy seed abundantly, as the stars of heaven, and as the sand of the seashore. And thy seed shall inherit the cities of their adversaries, and by the seed of thee all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because thou hast hearkened to my voice. Then Abraham returned to his servants, and they arose and came together to the well of the oath. For Abraham lived at the well of the oath. And after these things it was told Abraham, saying, With regard to Milcah, behold, she also hath borne sons to thy brother Nachor, Uz the firstborn, and Balch his brother, and Hamiel, the father of the Syrians, and Chazad, and Azel, and Phaldes, and Jeldath, and Bethuel, and Bethuel begat Rebekah. These were the 8 sons whom Milcah bore to Nachor, the brother of Abraham. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, bore also Tebek, and Gaam, and Tekos, and Mocha. And that is interesting. Nachor, his brother Nachor. Let's see. So in Jubilees it says, Abraham called that place Yahuwah hath seen, so that it is said in the mount Yahuwah hath seen, that is Mount Zion. So it tells you which holy mountain it is. And Yahuwah called Abraham by his name a second time from heaven. And it does not say the messenger of Yahuwah. It says Yahuwah called Abraham, as he caused us to appear to speak to him in the name of Yahuwah. And he said, By myself have I sworn, saith Yahuwah, because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thy beloved son, from me, that in blessing I shall bless thee, and multiplying I shall multiply thy seed. as the stars of heaven, as the sand which is on the seashore. And thy seed will inherit the cities of its enemies, and in thy seed will all nations of the earth be blessed. Because thou hast obeyed my voice, and I have shown to all that thou art faithful unto me, and all that I have said unto thee, go in peace. So you see a parallel here with Job, when Satan did the same thing to Job and had him tried, and Yahuwah, he was tried, he was found faithful, and Yahuwah turned around and blessed him, and Satan was put to shame. And Abraham went to his young men, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt by the well of the oak, and he celebrated this festival every year 7 days with joy, and he called it the festival of Yahuwah, according to the 7 days during which he went and returned in peace. And accordingly hath it been ordained and written on the heavenly tables regarding Israel and its seed, that they should observe this festival 7 days with the joy of the festival. So is it written on the law of Moses? No, it's written on the heavenly tablets, copied into the law of Moses. So we've got nothing about Nachor, death and burial of Sarah. We're going to go back to, let's see, seeks to convert Terah. Yep, Abraham burns the idols. Haran was burned, not Nachor. Okay. So 22, 23, chapter 23. We've only got 17, 18, and 19. So we're going to have to go back to the Septuagint. Some genealogy to consider. Next chapter, 23. Now the life of Sarah was 127 years, and Sarah died in the city Arbach, which is in the vale, the same as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abram went to mourn for Sarah and to make lamentation. And Abraham arose from before his dead, and spoke to the children of Shet, saying, before his dead. Yeah, from before his dead. That's odd. And oh, there's one other thing I need to look at. Sorry. Let's see. Let's look at the Targums here. Chapter 22. See, that's 19. 22. Now the Genesis Targums, you notice in Jubilees they tell you the 10 times that Abraham's tried. When you look in the Genesis Targums, you go, these words were heard from before Yahuwah of the world, and the word of Yahuwah at once tried Abraham and said to him, Abraham. So this says the Messiah spoke to Abraham, and he said, behold me. And it was, see, he didn't say, behold, I am. He said, behold me. And it was after these things that Yahuwah tried Abraham with the 10th trial, and said to him, Abraham. And he said, behold me. And he said, take now thy son, thou only one whom thou lovest, Isaac, and go into the land of worship, the holy mountain, land of worship, and offer him there a whole burnt offering upon one of the mountains in the morning, and saddled his ass, and took 2 young men with him, Eleazar and Ishmael, and Isaac his son, and cut the small wood and the figs and the palm, which were provided for the whole burnt offering, and arose and went to the land of which Yahuwah had told him. On the third day Abraham lifted up his eyes and beheld the cloud of glory fuming on the mount, and it was discerned by him afar off. And Abraham said to his young men, Wait you here with the ass, and I and the young man will proceed yonder, to prove if that which was promised shall be established. So shall be thy sons, and we will worship the Yahuwah of the world, and return to you. And Abraham took the wood of the offering, and laid it upon Isaac his son, and in his hand he took the fire and the knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake to Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, I am. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, where is the lamb for the offering? And Abraham said, Yahuwah will choose for himself a lamb for the offering. And they went both of them in heart entirely as one. And Abraham said, The word of Yahuwah will prepare for me a lamb. This is the Jerusalem translation. And if not, then thou art the offering of my son. And they went both of them together with a contrite heart. Interesting. Contrite heart. Isaiah 57:15. For thus said the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. I dwell in the high and holy place with him also that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite ones. Isaiah 66:2. For all those things hath mine hand made, and all those things have been, saith Yahuwah. But to this man will I look, even to him that is poor and of a contrite spirit, and trembleth at my word. Back to the Targums. And they came to the place of which Yahuwah had told him, and Abraham builded there the altar which Adam had built. You don't find that anywhere else. Which had been destroyed by the waters of the deluge, the flood, which Noah has again builded, and which had been destroyed in the age of divisions. And it tells you in Jubilees the division of the earth, the age of divisions. And he set the wood in order upon it, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand, and took the knife to slay his son. And Isaac answered and said to his father, Bind me properly aright, lest I tremble from the affliction of my soul, and be cast into the pit of destruction. And there be found profaneness in thy offering. You got to watch out with these Targums. Pharisee leaven, they like to add junk. Now the eyes of Abraham looked on the eyes of Isaac, but the eyes of Isaac looked toward the angels on high. And Isaac beheld them, but Abraham saw them not. And the angels answered on high, Come behold how these solitary ones who are in the world kill the one the other. He who slayeth delays not, he who is to be slain reaches forth his neck. And Abraham stretched out his hand, and took the knife to slay Isaac his son. Isaac answered and said to Abraham his father, My father, bind my hands rightly, lest in the hour of my affliction I tremble and confuse thee, and thy offering be found profane, and I be cast to the pit of destruction in the world to come. Yeah. In the world to come, you'll see that in Pharisee writings. That they put this in there all the time. The world to come, the world to come, the world to come. Now the eyes of Abraham reached in the eyes of Isaac. Yeah, that's kind of repeating there. And the angel of Yahuwah called him from the heavens and said to him, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Behold me. And he said, Stretch not out thy hand upon the young man, neither do him any evil, for now it is manifest before me that thou fearest Yahuwah, neither hast thou withheld thy son, the only begotten from me. So you can glean a little bit from that, but you got to be careful with that. And where he says that he saw the angels, if you go over here, and where's that? Giza Burns, Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay. Let's see, Isaac. Search. This is a fragment from the Dead Sea Scrolls 4Q225, and a son was born afterward to Abraham, and he called his name Isaac. I don't know if you can see that. And the prince Mastema came to Yahuwah and accused Abraham on account of Isaac. And Yahuwah said to Abraham, "Take your son Isaac, your only son whom you love, and offer him to me as a burnt offering on one of the blank mountains, which I will tell you." And he rose and he went from the wells to Mount Moriah. And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and behold, there was a fire. And he placed the wood on Isaac his son, and they went together. And Isaac said to Abraham his father, "Behold, there is the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham said to Isaac his son, "Yahuwah will provide a lamb for himself." Isaac said to his father, "Tie me well." And they quote pseudo Jonathan right there where it says, "Tie me well." It is behold the fire and the wood. Bind me properly, aright. So that agrees with pseudo Jonathan. The holy angels standing and weeping over the altar. See, there are angels there that you don't find in the other translations, that you do find in the Targums. So, angels on high. It does not say they're weeping, but there are angels there. There's a missing part here. And his sons from the earth and the angels of Mastema, blank, 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 that's missing there, were rejoicing and saying, "Now he, Isaac, will be destroyed." The messengers, it doesn't have to be angels, it could be it's messengers of Mastema, or evil spirits. "We shall see whether he will be found weak, and whether Abraham will be found unfaithful to Yahuwah." And he, Yahuwah, called Abraham Abraham. So Elohim called Abraham Abraham, and he said, "Here am I, here am I." There you go. And he said, "Now I know that it was a lie, that he, Abraham, will no longer be loving." It was a lie that Satan said, the father of lies, that Abraham wouldn't sacrifice his son. Not sure what that means. Kind of a fragment. And Yahuwah blessed Isaac all the days of his life. So, and all the days of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Levi were blank blank years. And the prince Mastema was bound, and the holy angels, the prince Mastema and Belial, listened to. A lot of fragments. Abraham was found faithful to God, and for blank pleasure, and for the Lord blessed Isaac all the days of his life. We got Jacob. Jacob, we got Levi. In the third generation, all the days of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Levi were blank years, and the holy angels blank fast here. So the Dead Sea Scrolls support the Targum in certain ways. So let's go to finish chapter 23. "I am a stranger and sojourner among you. Give me therefore the possession of a burying place among you, that I may bury my dead from before me." And the children of Chet answered and said to Abraham, "Nay, sir, rather hearken to us. Thou art a king from Yahuwah among us. In the choice of our tombs bury the dead, for there is none of us who will deny thee his tomb to bury there thy dead." Then Abraham, standing up, made obeisance to the people of the land, the children of Chet. And Abraham spoke to them, saying, "If it be your wish that I should bury this my dead out of my sight, hearken to me, and speak for me to Ephron the son of Sar, and let him give me the double cave which belongeth to him, that which is a part of his field, let him give it to me for the full value of it among you for possession of a burying place. Now Ephraim was sitting among the children of Chet, and Ephraim the Chetite answered Abraham and said in the hearing of the children of Chet and of all coming into the city, Attend, sir, and hearken to me. The field and the cave which is in it I give thee. In the presence of my fellow citizens I have given them to thee. Bury thy dead. And when Abraham had made obeisance before all the people of the land, he said to Ephraim in the hearing of all the people of the land, As thou art here before me, hearken to me. Take of me in silver the value of the field, and I will bury my dead there. Whereupon Ephraim answered Abraham, saying, 15. No, we're going to 17. Nay, sir, I have indeed heard that the land is worth 400 drachms of silver. That's Greece money. But what can that be between me and thee? But bury thou thy dead. And Abraham hearkened to Ephraim. And Abraham paid down to Ephraim the money which he mentioned in the hearing of the children of Chet, 400 drachms of silver, current among merchants. 17:23. And the KJV is translated out of the Hebrew. So here you have shekels, which is a Hebrew money. Septuagint has drachms, which is Greek. This is translated out of the Greek. So they translated shekels into drachms and then into English. So here is Genesis 23 from the Dead Sea Scrolls. 17. So the field of Ephraim, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, the cave which was in it, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all of its borders, were deeded to Abraham for possession in the presence of the children of Heth, before all who went in at the gate of his city. After this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. So all we have is up to 19 in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And the property of the field and the cave in it was confirmed to Abraham for possession of a burying place by the children of Chet. Whoop. Next book. Next chapter. Have a great Sabbath from Australia. Electra. Happy Sabbath. And Christine, God bless you more, brother. Hallelujah. Happy Sabbath, Christine. Let's see. So in Jubilees 19, we've got, third year, Abraham went to mourn over and bury her. It says, we tried him to see if his spirit were patient. He was not indignant in the words of his mouth, and he was found patient in this and was not disturbed. For in patience of spirit he conversed with the children of Heth, to the intent that they should give him a place in which to bury his dead. And I'm just looking at Jubilees to compare to Genesis. I don't really want to read double passages and see where the differences are at. And Yahuwah gave him grace before all who saw him. And Scripture backs that up. Enemies. Where's it at? Make enemies be at peace. Enemies at peace. Here we go. Proverbs 16:7. When a man's ways please Yahuwah, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. What do we see in Abraham's account? Yahuwah gave him grace before all who saw him. He made his enemies to be at peace with him. and they were going to give him the field for nothing, but Abraham would not take it for nothing. And all the days of Sarah, 127 years. 10th trial wherewith Abraham was tried. Pseudo-Jonathan said the 10th trial was his son Isaac, so there's kind of a discrepancy there. He was recorded, and he said not a single word regarding the rumor in the land how Yahuwah had said that he would give it to him and to his seed after him, and he begged a place there to bury his dead, for he was found faithful, and was recorded on the heavenly tables as a friend of Yahuwah. Wow. To be recorded as a friend of Yahuwah. And okay, so it goes into the account of Isaac. Well, Isaac and Abraham after Sarah passes. So we go to the Targums. Some more genealogy for 22, and we're looking at Pseudo-Jonathan 23. Spake. I don't know the Targums extremely well, so just bits and pieces. So we're on 24 scrolls. Take a short break. I'll be right back. All right. So we're on Genesis chapter 24. And scrolls are fragmentary again. You only got a couple of verses. Either only a couple of fragments were found or they're missing. Let's go over to Genesis 24. Wow, that's a good bit. We got Dead Sea Scrolls Bible. See, they translated a little bit differently. I really need to learn Hebrew and Greek. 24. So we got, yep, just a couple of verses here too. They got a shekel translated. So Genesis 24, Septuagint. Now Abraham was old and far advanced in years, and Yahuwah had blessed him in all things. And Abraham said to his servant, the oldest of his family, and who was ruler over all that he had, put thy hand under my thigh, and let me cause thee to swear by Yahuwah, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of earth, that thou wilt not take a wife for my son Isaac of the daughters of the Canaanites among whom I dwell, but that thou wilt go to the land where I was born, and to my tribe, and take thence a wife for my son Isaac. And the servant said to him, perhaps the woman will not be willing to come with me to this land. Shall I take back thy son to the land from which thou earnest? Whereupon Abraham said to him, beware that thou take not back my son thither. Yahuwah, the Elohim of heaven and the Elohim of earth, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my nativity, who spoke to me and who sware to me, saying, to thee I will give this land, and to thy seed he will send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take thence a wife for my son. But if the woman will not come with thee into this land, thou shalt be absolved from this my oath, save that thou must not take my son back thither. Then the servant put his hand under the master Abraham's thigh, and swore to him respecting this matter. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and of all the goods of his master which were in his charge, and arose and went to Mesopotamia, to the city of Nahor. And he made his camels lie down without the city by the well of the water in the evening, when the women come out to draw water. The women come out to draw water, and said, Yahuwah, the Elohim of my master Abraham, prosper the way before me this day, and show thy kindness to my master. Behold, I stand by this well of water, and the daughters of the inhabitants of the city will come out to draw water. Now let the virgin to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, that I may drink, and who shall say, drink thou, and I will give water also to thy camels, till they have all done drinking. Let her be the woman whom thou hast provided for thy servant Isaac. And by this I shall know that thou hast dealt mercifully with my master Abraham. And before he had finished this mental speech, lo, Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her pitcher on her shoulder. Now the damsel was of very beautiful countenance, and was a virgin. No man had known her. So when she had gone down to the well, and filled her pitcher, and came up, the servant ran to meet her, and said, let me drink a little water out of thy pitcher. Upon which she said, drink, my master, and hastened to let down the pitcher of her arm, and let him drink till he was satisfied. Then she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until they shall have drunk. And she hasted and emptied the pitcher into the watering trough, and ran to the well to draw more, and drew water for all the camels. And the man observed her attentively, and held his peace, that he might know whether Yahuwah had prospered his journey or not. So we got the Dead Sea Scrolls 22. As the camels had done drinking, the man took a golden ring of 1/2 shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekel weights of gold. Missing. She said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor. Not a whole lot there. 10 shekels of gold. The Dead Sea Scroll Bible says, "Whose daughter are you? Tell me, I pray you, is there room in your father's house for us to lodge in?" So, 10 bracelets. Yep, tell me, is there room in father's house to lodge? Moreover, she said to him, "We have plenty of straw and provender and room to lodge in." Then the man, being satisfied, worshipped Yahuwah and said, "Blessed be Yahuwah, Elohim of my master Abraham, who had not withdrawn his kindness and his truth from my master. Yahuwah hath indeed given me a prosperous journey to the house of my master's brother." Upon this the damsel ran to her mother's house and told all these things. Now Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban, and Laban ran out to the man at the well when he saw the earrings and bracelets in his sister's hands, and heard all the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, "Thus spake the man to me." He went to the man who was standing by his camels at the well, and said to him, "Come in, thou blessed of the Yahuwah. Why hast thou tarried without? I had the house ready and a place for the camels." So the man went into the family, and Laban unsaddled the camels, and gave straw and provender to the camels, and water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him, and set bread before them to eat. But the man said, "I cannot eat till I have told my business." And Laban said, "Speak." Thereupon the man said, "I am Abraham's servant. Yahuwah indeed hath blessed my master exceedingly, so that he is to become great. He hath given him flocks and herds and silver and gold, men servants and maidservants, camels and asses. And Sarah, the wife of my master, hath borne one son to my master when he was old, and he hath given him all that belonged to him. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife for my son from among the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I sojourn." That's because there's a curse on Canaan. "But thou shalt go to the house of my father and to my tribe, and take thence a wife for my son." Whereupon I said to my master, "Perhaps the woman will not come with me." And he said to me, "Yahuwah, to whom I have been well pleasing in his sight, will send his angel with thee, and make thy journey prosperous. And thou shalt take a wife for my son, from my tribe, and from my father's house. On this condition only thou shalt be absolved from my curse when thou hast gone to my tribe, if they will not give thee. Then shalt thou be clear from my oath. Now when I came today to the well, I said, Yahuwah of my master Abraham, if thou prosperest the journey in which I am now engaged, behold, I have stopped at this well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let the virgin to whom I shall say, Let me drink a little water out of thy pitcher. And who shall say to me, Drink thou, and I will draw water for thy camels? Let her be the wife whom Yahuwah hath provided for his servant Isaac, and by this I shall know that thou hast dealt mercifully with my master Abraham." And before I had finished this, my address and thought, straightway Rebekah came with the pitcher on her shoulder, and went down to the well, and drew water. And I said to her, Let me drink. Upon which she speedily let down the pitcher on her arm, and said, Drink thou, and I will water thy camels. So I drank. And when she had watered the camels, I asked her, saying, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me. And she said, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nachor, whom Milcah bore to him. Then I put the earrings on her and the bracelets on her hands, and being well pleased, I worshipped Yahuwah and blessed Yahuwah of thy Elohim of my master Abraham, who had prospered me in the right way to take the daughter of my master's brother for his son. Now therefore, if you deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me; if not, tell me, that I may turn either to the right or left. In reply to which Laban and Bethuel said, This matter hath proceeded from Yahuwah. We cannot gainsay thee, be it good or bad. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of thy master's son, as Yahuwah hath spoken. And when Abraham's servant heard these words, he worshipped Yahuwah on the ground. Then the servant brought out jewels of silver and gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah, and made presents to her brother and to her mother. And when he and the men were with him had eaten and drank, they went to rest. And he arose early next morning and said, Dismiss me, that I may return to my master. But her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel stay with us about 10 days, and then she shall go. And he said to them, Do not detain me, seeing Yahuwah hath prospered me in my journey, as far as it respecteth me. Send me away that I may go back to my master. Whereupon they said, Let us call our child and ask what she saith. So they called Rebekah and said to her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go. Then they sent away their sister Rebekah and what belonged to her, and the servant of Abraham and his attendants. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, Thou art our sister. Mayest thou become thousands of myriads, and may thy seed inherit the cities of their enemies. Then arose Rebekah and her maids, and mounting the camels, they went with the man. And the servant took Rebekah and departed. Now Isaac had traveled through the wilderness to the well of Vision, and dwelt in the south country. The well of Vision. That's very interesting. He went to the well of Vision. Isaiah 22:1. The burden of the valley of Vision, what aileth thee now, that thou art wholly gone up to the housetops? Housetops. Matthew 10:27, What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. What you hear in the ear, that preach you upon the housetops. Where's that other verse? He said, don't come down from the housetop somewhere. The grass upon the housetops. Psalm 129. It is housetop. Yeah, say Matthew 24:17, let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Isaiah 22:5, for it is a day of trouble and of treading down of perplexity by Yahuwah of the host in the valley of Vision, breaking down the walls and of crying to the mountains. Ezekiel 11 brought me in a vision. Dwelt in the south country, and evening Isaac went out into the plain to meditate, and raising his eyes he saw camels coming. Rebekah also having raised her eyes saw Isaac and alighted from her camel. She had said to the servant, What man is that coming in the plain to meet us? And the servant said, It is my master. Whereupon she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all that he had done. And Isaac went to his mother's house and took Rebekah. She became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted for the loss of his mother Sarah. Next chapter 25. It looks like 25 is missing in the Dead Sea Scrolls. We got a little bit of 26 here. And Jubilees has some more stuff about Abraham. Took himself a third wife after Sarah died. And from among the daughters of his household servants, for Hagar had died, she bare him 6 sons. So he's got 6 more sons. And then Rebekah bare Isaac 2 sons, Jacob and Esau. Jacob was a smooth and upright man. Esau was fierce, a man of the field and hairy. Jacob dwelt in tents. The youths grew. Jacob learned to write. Esau did not learn, for he was a man of the field and a hunter, and he learnt war, and all his deeds were fierce. So we've got chapter 25. Now Abraham had taken another wife whose name was Keturah. Okay, so it lines up with Jubilees. She bore him Zimbran and Jesan and Madal and Madiam, Jespach and Soi. Jesan begat Sabah and Dedan. The children of Dedan were Ashurim and Lapsuim and Laomim. And the children of Madiam were Gaphar and Aphor and Enoch and Abidah and Eldaga. All these were the children of Keturah, but Abraham gave to his son Isaac all his possessions. And the children of his concubines Abraham gave gifts and sent them while he was yet living toward the east into the eastern country from his son Isaac. So more of Seth's descendants. Abraham descended from Seth, and they go toward the east. What's in the east? Well, land of the rising sun. The sun rises in the east, right? Land of the rising sun. Popular name for Japan. Okay. Definition of Orient. I don't know why people make things harder than it's got to be. I mean, Orient. A pearl. Don't cast your pearls before swine. Orient, Eastern, countries of Asia. Okay. Abraham gave gifts and sent them while he was yet living toward the east. The Orient. We've also got here kings of the east. Revelation 16:12, kings of the east. Isaiah 41, who raised up a righteous man from the east. Let's see. I don't agree with everything that God culture does, but they nailed this one. Ophir is the Philippines. 100% in the east. Ships of Tarshish, Psalms 48, east wind. Genesis 10:30, and their dwelling was from Meshah as thou goest unto Sephar, a mount of the east. Eden, holy mountain. Some Jubilees, Enoch. We've also got wise men east, who brought the Messiah gifts. Matthew 2:1, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, the Orient. All through. You got descendants of Shem. Shem inherited the middle of the earth. You got Saudi Arabia, Iran. You got Asia, Philippines, Japan. North Japheth, south Ham, Shem, middle. It tells you Abraham's descendants went east. Into the eastern country. Now these were the years of the days of Abraham's life, which he lived, 175 years. And Abraham, declining, died in a good old age, an old man and full of days, and he was added to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the double cave in the field of Ephron, the son of Sar the Chetite, which is over against Mamre, in the field, in the cave which Abraham bought of the children of Chet. There they buried Abraham with Sarah his wife. And after the death of Abraham, Yahuwah blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt at the well of vision. Now these are the generations of Abram's son Ishmael, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's maid. So you got Hagar the Egyptian. That's northern Africa. Sarah's maid bore to Abraham, and these are the names of the children of Ishmael according to the names of his families. So you've got Ham and Shem mixed here. Egypt is Ham's territory. These are the names of the children of Ishmael according to the names of his families. The firstborn of Ishmael was Nebaioth, then Kedar, and Nabdeel, and Masam, and Masma, and Duma, and Maseh, and Chodan, and Thyman, and Jetur, and Naphiz, and Kedma. These are the children of Ishmael, and these are their names in their tents and in their habitations, 12 chiefs of their respective nations. And these were the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years, and he declining died and was added to his race. Now he inhabited the country from Evilat to Sour, which is in front of Egypt, all the way to the Assyrians. In front of all his brethren was his habitation, and these are the generations of Isaac, the son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took to wife Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian of Syro, Mesopotamia, the sister of Laban, the Syrian, Assyria. And Isaac entreated Yahuwah for Rebekah his wife because she was barren, and Yahuwah hearkened to him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled within her, and she said, If it is to be so with me, what doth this portend? So she went to inquire of Yahuwah, and Yahuwah said to her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 people shall be separated from thy belly, and the one people will excel the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. So when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, there were twins in her womb. And the firstborn came forth red all over, hairy like a hide, and called his name Esau. And after that came forth his brother, and his hand had hold of Esau's heel, and she called his name Jacob. Now Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah bore them, and when they grew up to be young men, Esau was a man skilled in hunting and fond of the field, but Jacob was a man of the plain manners, and lived at home. And Isaac loved Esau because his game was his food, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now when Jacob was boiling pottage, Esau came from the field fainting. And Esau said to Jacob, Let me taste some of that red pottage, for I am fainting. That's a weird translation. For this cause his name was called Edom. And Jacob said to Esau, Give me this day in exchange thy rights of primogeniture. And Esau said, Lo, I am going to die. What then are these rights of primogeniture, rights of inheritance, to me? And Jacob said to him, Swear now to me. So he swore to him. Thus were Esau's rights of inheritance transferred to Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and lentil pottage, and when he had eaten and drunk, he arose and went away. Thus did Esau undervalue the rights of his inheritance. And that is weird. Primogeniture. Yep, 25. His birthright. So yeah, Brenton Septuagint's a little easier to understand there. So we got 20, 26. We do have confirmation there. Jubilees is Abraham's last words to his children and grandchildren. Abraham called Ishmael his 12 sons, Isaac and his 2 sons, 6 sons of Keturah and their sons. He commanded them they should observe the way of Yahuwah. They should work righteousness and love each his neighbor, and act on this manner amongst all men, that they should each so walk with regard to them as to do judgment and righteousness in the earth. So Abraham taught his sons the way. The way. Abraham knew the way? Thought that was just given to Israel. The way, where's that? Let's see if I can pull it up here. Commandments. Psalm 119:32. I'll run the way of thy commandments when thou shalt enlarge my heart. Deuteronomy 11:28, and a curse if you will not obey the commandments of Yahuwah, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods which you have not known. Deuteronomy 8:2, and thou shalt remember all the way which Yahuwah thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldst keep his commandments or no. And I don't have the way in the, yeah, the way. There we go. And Judges 2:17, and yet they would not hearken unto their judges, but they went a whoring after other gods, and bowed themselves unto them. Sun God Day, Christmas, Easter, Halloween. They turned quickly out of the way which their fathers walked in, obeying the commandments of Yahuwah, but they did not so. The way. Yeah, let's see, where's it at? Yep, so yep, David is thoroughly, yep, he knows exactly. Psalms 1:6, for Yahuwah knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. The way. The way hasn't changed. People don't want to hear it. Abraham knew it. Abraham taught his sons the way, commandments, righteousness, love your neighbor as yourself. The Messiah told you. Love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. That they should circumcise their sons according to the covenant which he had made with them, and not deviate to the right hand or the left of all the paths which Yahuwah had commanded us, and that we should keep ourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and renounce from amongst us all fornication and uncleanness. So what's that? Let's see. We got a little example here in Acts 15, 20. Acts 15:20. First steps for the Gentiles. We write unto them that they abstain from pollutions of idols, Christmas, Easter, Sun God Day, Halloween, Purim, Hanukkah, and from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. The Noah covenant says don't eat blood. Abstain from blood. So you got, yep, fornication. Keep yourself from fornication. The disciples were teaching the exact same thing. And let's see, renounce from us. If any woman or maid commit fornication amongst you, burn her with fire, and let them not commit fornication with her after their eyes and their heart. Let them not take to themselves wives from the daughters of Canaan. And he tells you why. The seed of Canaan will be rooted out of all the land. And he told them of the judgment of the giants, and the judgment of the Sodomites, how they had been judged on account of their wickedness, and had died on account of their fornication and uncleanness and mutual corruption through fornication. And guard yourselves from all fornication and uncleanness, and from all pollution of sin. So, pollution of sin, what's sin? First, where's that? Nope. Whoever committeth, 1 John 3:4, whoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law. Lest you make our name a curse, and your whole life a hissing, and all your sons be destroyed by the sword, and you become accursed like Sodom, and all your remnant as the sons of Gomorrah. Matthew 11:24, but I say unto you that it shall be more tolerable for the land of Sodom in the day of judgment than for thee. Yikes. I implore you, my sons, love Yahuwah of heaven, and cleave ye to all his commandments, Abraham's teaching commandments before Mount Sinai. The same commandments Adam had, the same commandments Enoch had, the same commandments Noah had, the same commandments Abraham had, the same commandments Moses had. Walk not after idols and after their uncleanness. Make not for yourselves molten or graven images, graven gods. What's that? Commandment 1, 2. For they are vanity. There is no spirit in them, for they are work of men's hands, and all who trust in them trust in nothing. Serve them not, nor worship them, but serve the Most High, Yahuwah, and worship him continually, and hope for his countenance always, and work uprightness and righteousness before him, that he may have pleasure in you and grant you his mercy, and send rain upon you morning and evening, and bless all your works which you have wrought upon the earth, and bless thy bread and thy water, and bless the fruit of thy womb, and the fruit of thy land, and the herds of thy cattle, and the flocks of thy sheep, and you will be for a blessing on the earth, and all nations of the earth will desire you, and bless your sons in my name, that they may be blessed as I am. He gave Ishmael and to his sons and to the sons of Keturah gifts, and sent them away from Isaac his son, and he gave everything to Isaac his son. Esau despised circumcision. Huh. No. And Ishmael and his sons, the sons of Keturah, and their sons went together and dwelt from Paran to the entering in of Babylon, and all the land which is toward the east, facing the desert. And these mingled with each other, and their name was called Arabs and Ishmaelites. Jubilee. So he called Isaac his son, and told him, Behold, I am 175 years old. Throughout all the days of my life I have remembered Yahuwah, and sought with all my heart to do his will, and to walk uprightly in all his ways. My soul hath hated idols, and I have despised those that serve them, and have given my heart and spirit that I might observe to do the will of him who created me. For he is the living Elohim, and he is holy and faithful. He is righteous beyond all, and there is with him no accepting of men's persons, and no accepting of gifts. For Yahuwah is righteous. And when it says men's, that includes women. For Yahuwah is righteous, and executeth judgment on all those who transgress his commandments and despise his covenant. Still stands. And do thou, my son, observe his commandments and his ordinances and his judgments, and walk not after the abominations, and after the graven images, and after the molten images, and eat no blood at all of animals or cattle, or of any bird which flieth in the heaven. And if thou dost slay a victim as an acceptable peace offering, slay ye it, and pour out its blood upon the altar. And all the fat of the offering offer on the altar with fine flour, and the meat offering mingled with oil, with its drink offering, offer them all together on the altar of burnt offering. It is a sweet savor before Yahuwah. So he goes on to tell him how to do offerings, tell Isaac how to do offerings. And he tells him, "For thus I have found it written in the books of my forefathers, in the words of Enoch, in the words of Noah." See, they had the law before, the sacrifices and offerings before Israel, in the books of Enoch and Noah. It didn't start at Israel. And as regard, he tells them about the wood to use, which is in Enoch. Observe this commandment, so he could be upright in all his deeds. He observes the ceremonial washing. Yeah, he tells him, he's teaching him the law pretty much. It didn't start with Moses. See, the Israelites forgot it when they were in Egypt. They had to be retaught. Just like we're in Egypt. Babylon, we got to be retaught. I see, my son, let's see, yeah, that all the works of the children of men are sin and wickedness, and all their deeds are uncleanness and an abomination and a pollution, and there is no righteousness with them. Beware lest thou should walk in their ways, and tread in their paths, and sin a sin unto death before Yahuwah. What's he talking about? Sin a sin unto death. Let Scripture interpret Scripture. 1 John 5:16, if any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. See? John knows what he's talking about. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. Keeping himself, the wicked one touch him not. The whole world lieth in wickedness. What's John quoting? Jubilees. All the works of children of men are sin and wickedness. John's quoting Jubilees, giving us an understanding that we may know him that is true. Little children, keep yourselves from pagan idols. Amen. Sin unto death, idolatry. Else he will hide his face from thee, and give thee back into the hands of thy transgression, and root thee out of the land, and thy seed likewise from under heaven. And thy name and thy seed will perish from the whole earth. Turn away from all their deeds and all their uncleanness, and observe the ordinance of the Most High Yahuwah, and do his will, and be upright in all things. And he will bless thee in all thy deeds, and will raise up from thee the plant of righteousness throughout the earth, throughout all the generations of the earth. And my name and thy name will not be forgotten under heaven forever. Go, my son, in peace. May the Most High Yahuwah, my Elohim, and thy Elohim strengthen thee to do his will. And may he bless all thy seed and the residue of thy seed for the generations forever, with all righteous blessing, that thou mayest be a blessing on all the earth. And he went out from him rejoicing. So Abraham died, celebrated the Feast of Weeks, and we're on 25, 26. Hallelujah, he left a lot of scripture for us. So 26, I think I'll do 26 and I'll probably stop there. And it's going to be verse 21, 28, 21, 28. Yeah. Paleogenesis. Interesting. So we got some Paleo Hebrew here. Genesis 26, and there was a famine in the land besides the former famine, which was in the time of Abram. And Isaac went to Abimelech, the king of the Philistines, to Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared to him and said, Go not down to Egypt, but dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of, and sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee and bless thee. For I will give to thee and to thy seed all this land, and I will establish my oath which I swore to thy father Abram. And I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and I will give to thy seed all this land, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in thy seed, because Abram thy father hearkened to my voice, and kept my injunctions, and my commandments, and my ordinances, and my statutes. That's the only detail you get in Genesis. Jubilees is very detailed. Abraham taught his sons the commandments, and then he got Isaac by himself and taught him again. Genesis is missing that. The only thing Genesis has is this here. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar, and the men of the place questioned him concerning Rebekah his wife, and he said, She is my sister, for he feared to say, She is my wife, lest at any time the men of the place should slay him because of Rebekah, because she was fair. And he remained there a long time, and Abimelech the king of Gerar leaned to look through the window and saw Isaac sporting with Rebekah his wife. And Abimelech called Isaac and said to him, Is she then thy wife? Why hast thou said, She is my sister? And Isaac said to him, I did so, for I said, lest at any time I die on her account. Excuse me. And Abimelech said to him, Why hast thou done this to us? One of my kindred within a little had lain with my wife, and thou wouldst have brought a sin of ignorance upon us. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, Every man that touches this man and his wife shall be liable to death. And Isaac sowed in that land, and he found that year barley 100-fold, and Yahuwah blessed him. And the man was exalted, and advancing he increased till he became great, and he had cattle of sheep and cattle of oxen, and many tilled lands, and the Philistines envied him. And all the wells which the servants of his father had dug in the time of his father, the Philistines stopped them, and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said to Isaac, Depart from us, for thou art become much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and rested in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac dug again the wells of water, which the servants of his father Abram had dug. And the Philistines had stopped them after the death of his father Abram, and he gave them names according to the names by which his father named them. And the servants of Isaac dug in the valley of Gerar, and they found there a well of living water. And the shepherds of Gerar strove with the shepherds of Isaac, saying that the water was theirs, and they called the name of the well Injury, for they injured him. And having departed thence, he dug another well, and they strove also for that, and he named the name of it Enmity. And let's see, so 22. So 21 in the Dead Sea Scrolls. They dug another well, and they argued over that also. He called its name Sitnah. He left that place and dug another well. They didn't argue over that one. He called it Rehoboth. He said, For now Yahuwah has made room for us, and we will be fruitful in the land. And I do want to look at something here. Genesis 26, 22. Okay, so 21, you got Sitnah. And the Strong's H7856, Sitnah. Sitnah means strife. And 21, let's say 22. Another well they dug, Rehoboth, H7344, Rehoboth, wide places or streets. And he left that place and dug another well. They didn't argue over that one. He called it Rehoboth. He said, For now Yahweh's made room for us. Wide places made room for us. He went up from there to Beersheba. Yahuwah appeared to him the same night and said, I am the Elohim of Abraham your father. Don't be afraid, for I am with you, and will bless you and multiply your offspring for my servant Abraham's sake. He built an altar there and called on Yahuwah's name, and pitched his tent there. There Isaac's servants dug a well. So the people that say, "Oh, the divine name is too holy, we can't say it." Well, Isaac's saying it. He's a follower of the way. Then Abimelech went to him from Gerar, and Ahuzath his friend, and Phicol the captain of his army. Isaac said to them, "Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have sent me away from you?" They said, "We saw plainly that Yahuwah was with you. We said, let there now be an oath between us, even between us and you, and let us make a covenant with you." Yahuwah is with you. They saw that Yahuwah was with him. Not sure where that's at. I think it's New Testament. Oh well. So we got down to 28 there. 29 Septuagint, that thou shalt do no wrong by us, as we have not abhorred thee, and according as we have treated thee well, and have sent thee forth peaceably, and now thou art blessed of Yahuwah. And he made a feast for them, and they ate and drank, and they arose in the morning, and swore each to his neighbor. And Isaac sent them forth, and they departed from him in safety. And it came to pass in that day that the servants of Isaac came and told him of the well which they had dug, and they said, "We have not found water." And he called it Oath. Therefore he called the name of that city the Well of Oath until this day. And Esau was 40 years old, and he took the wife of Judith, the daughter of Beoth, the Chetite, and Basemath, daughter of Helon the Chetite. And they were provoking to Isaac and Rebekah. And one little comparison here. Jubilees tells you Abraham died. Isaac and Ishmael came from the Well of the Oath, so it was already named the Well of the Oath before. Isaac had... Yep, that he might eat and bless the Creator of all things before he died. Isaac sent him Jacob. He ate, and what's the Sabbath feast day? He ate and drank and blessed the Most High Elohim. Yahuwah, thank you and bless you. Who hath created heaven and earth, who hath made all the fat things of the earth, and given them to the children of men, that they might eat and drink and bless their Creator. And now I give thanks unto thee, my Elohim, because thou hast caused me to see this day. 160 years. Yep, that's Abraham, chosen nation of inheritance from amongst all the nations of the earth, unto all ages. Israel done away? Nope. Jacob. So he blessed Jacob before he died. Exercise authority over all the seed of Seth. So that's the seed that Israel came from, Seth. So it would be a holy nation, wherewith he has blessed me, and wherewith he blessed Noah and Adam. They rest on the sacred head of thy seed from generation to generation. Mayest thou inherit the whole earth, renew the covenant with him. Observe the commandments of Abraham. Separate from the nations. They offer sacrifices to the dead. They worship evil spirits. They eat over the graves. All their works are vanity and nothingness. They have no heart to understand. Their eyes do not see what their works are. How they err in saying to a piece of wood, Thou art my God, and to a stone, Thou art my Lord, and Thou art my deliverer. They have no heart. As for thee, my son Jacob, may the Most High Elohim help thee, And the Elohim of heaven blessed thee, and removed thee from their uncleanness and from all their error. Beware, taking a daughter from the seed of Canaan, for his seed is to be rooted out of the earth. For owing to the transgression of Ham, Canaan erred, and all his seed will be destroyed from off the earth, and all the residue thereof, and none springing from him will be saved on the day of judgment. Gone. That's it. Too bad. You can ignore the scripture if you want to, but it says, none will be left. And as for all the worshippers of idols and the profane, there will be no hope for them in the land of the living. There will be no remembrance of them on earth, for they will descend into Sheol, into the place of condemnation where they go. As the children of Sodom were taken away from the earth, so will all those who worship idols be taken away. Fear not, my son Jacob. Be not dismayed, O son of Abraham. And that is... one thing to look at. You got these here. Idols, 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 stone, stone, idols of stone, all over the place. Yep. Idols of stone, idols of stone. It don't matter if he's carrying a cross, pretending to be the Messiah. That's still an idol of stone. Idols. Idols, idols, silver and gold. What's that? Idols, yeah. Idols. Doesn't matter if you mean well or not. An idol's an idol. He does not tell you to make a cross and wear it on your neck. He don't tell you to put up a Christmas tree. Idols of wood. Idols, idols, more idols. Deck it with silver and gold. Jeremiah chapter 10. More idols, more idols. Bow down to get your Christmas present. Leave Santa Claus a milk and cookie offering. Idols, 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 idols. The world is full of them. All the paths of error. Be named the house of Abraham. So he blessed Jacob. So he's commanding Jacob. He commanded his sons, then he commanded Isaac, and then he commanded Jacob. Bless thy seed, renew thy covenant unto all the generations of the earth. Death and burial of Abraham. You're not buried him next to Sarah. Yep, so here in Jubilees, the days of the forefathers were 19 Jubilees. After the flood, they began to grow less than 19 Jubilees, to decrease in Jubilees, and to grow old quickly by manifold tribulation and wickedness of their ways, except Abraham. Abraham was righteous. For Abraham was perfect in all his deeds, and well-pleasing in righteousness all the days of his life. And behold, he did not complete 4 Jubilees, 49 times 4. When he had grown old by reason of the wickedness and was full of days. By reason of his wickedness? No, by the wickedness of the world. And all the generations which shall arise from this time until the day of great judgment will grow old quickly, before they complete 2 Jubilees, which will be 98 years. Their knowledge will forsake them by reason of their old age, and all their knowledge will vanish away. In those days, if a man live a jubilee and a half of years, they will say regarding him, he hath lived long, and the greater part of his days are pain and sorrow and tribulation. Jubilee and a half would be 49, and half of 49, 24. So 24, 73, somewhere around there, 73, 74. For calamity followeth on calamity, and wound on wound, and tribulation on tribulation, and evil tidings on evil tidings, and illness on illness, and evil judgments such as these, one with another, illness and overthrow, snow and frost, and ice, and fever and chills. People get sick these days. Torpor, famine, death, sword, captivity, all kinds of calamities and pains. All these come on an evil generation, which transgresseth on the earth. Their works are uncleanness and fornication and pollution and abominations. And they will say, the days of the forefathers were many, even unto 1,000 years, and were good. But behold, the days of our life, if a man hath lived many, are 60 years and 10, which would be 70. If he is strong 80 years, will be 80. Those evil, and there is no peace in the days of this evil generation. We're right there. In that generation the sons will convict their fathers and the elders of sin and unrighteousness in the words of their mouth, and the great wickedness which they perpetuate concerning their forsaking the covenant which Yahuwah made between them and him, that they should observe and do all his commandments and his ordinances and his laws, without departing to the right or to the left. For all have done evil, and every mouth speaketh iniquity, and all their works are uncleanness and abomination. All their ways are pollution, uncleanness, and destruction. That's this generation. Right here. Behold, the earth will be destroyed on account of all their works. There will be no seed of the vine or no oil, for their works are altogether faithless. Hebrews chapter 4, if you don't keep the Sabbath, you don't have faith. They will all perish together, beasts and cattle and birds and all fish of the sea, on account of the children of men. And they will strive one with another. This is after the flood. The young with the old with the young, the poor with the rich, the lowly with the great, the beggar with the prince, on account of the law and the covenant, for they have forgotten commandment and covenant and feast and months and Sabbaths and jubilees and all judgments. And they will stand with bows and swords in war to turn them back into the way. But they will not return until much blood hath been shed on the earth, one by another, and those who have escaped will not return from their wickedness to the way of righteousness, but they will all exalt themselves to deceit and wealth, that they may take each take all that is his neighbor's. And they will name the great name, but not in truth and not in righteousness. And they will defile the Holy of Holies with their uncleanness and the corruption of their pollution. And a great punishment will befall the deeds of this generation from Yahuwah. And he will give them over to the sword and to judgment and to captivity, and to be plundered and devoured. And he will wake up against them the sinners of the Gentiles, who have neither mercy nor compassion, who will have respect for the person of none, neither old nor young nor anyone, for they are more wicked and strong to do evil than all the children of men. And they will use violence against Israel and transgression against Jacob, and much blood will be shed upon the earth. There will be none to gather and none to bury. So that's all over Scripture. None to gather. Yep. Jeremiah 9:22, speak thus unto Yahuwah, even the carcasses of men shall fall as dung upon the open field, and as the handful after the harvestmen, and none shall gather them. In those days they will cry aloud and call and pray that they may be saved from the hand of the sinners, the Gentiles, but none will be saved. And the heads of the children will be white with gray hair, and the child of 3 weeks will appear old like a man of 100 years. And their stature will be destroyed by tribulation and oppression. A child of 3 weeks would be 3 weeks of years, should be seven years, so 21. In those days the children shall begin to study the laws and to seek the commandments and to return to the paths of righteousness. And the days will begin to grow many and increase amongst the children of men, till they draw nigh to 1,000 years. So that's after. And so 27. And we'll stop there. Didn't get very far. 22 through 26, 22, 23, 24, 25. 5 chapters. So, all right. Well, I hope that was a blessing and helpful to someone.